Muted Mariposa 12-month classic size happy planner. Let's get into it. Hey there, it's Elisa, but of course you can call me Ellie if that's easier for you to remember because it goes with the channel name and whatnot. These are beginning to be a bit too much. So I'm actually getting ready to work on putting together my next planner for this year, July through December. And for reasons that we'll get into in a later video, I was hoping to find a frosted cover for that new planner. And that's when I found this planner on the Walmart website. I hadn't seen anybody else get this planner within my sphere of happy planner community, and since I had to buy this online, I didn't get a chance to look at this planner before I actually purchased it. I ended up running into a few surprises. Some of them were good, some of them maybe wouldn't have been my first choice, but since I hadn't seen anybody get this planner yet, I figured maybe you haven't either, so I thought we could kind of go through this planner together and I could show you what all the little surprises are in here and what this planner actually looks like. Okay, so first of all, this is a dashboard layout. The planner itself says monthly, weekly, classic planner, and the item information on the website says the calendar format is monthly, but it's a dashboard layout planner. When I bought this planner, I didn't notice in the about this item section that it says made with sustainable, eco-friendly materials, but it is. There's a few references to this within the planner, including this extra little insert, but I didn't notice the whole eco-friendly thing when I was first buying this planner, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it does mean that some of these materials do feel a little bit different than they would in just your typical happy planner. So we'll get into that as we go along. It's hard to tell if the discs feel any different. If you told me that these feel a little bit more flimsy than regular plastic happy planner discs, I'd believe you, but that could also just be like the power of suggestion. And I don't know if it's because they were going with the whole eco-friendly thing, but the color does remind me of those agave biodegradable straws, just a little bit. The packaging does also seem slightly more eco-friendly. It's wrapped together with a paper sleeve instead of a plastic sleeve. The website didn't show all of the dividers like the regular happy planner website would, so this is the first time that I'm seeing most of them. Since I got this planner mostly just for the cover, I wasn't too worried about the dividers anyways, but if I was planning on this being my one and only planner for the year, I'm not sure if I would have taken the risk of buying this planner without knowing what those dividers even look like. Now, I'm not much of a paper snob, so I can't really tell if the regular pages themselves are any different than normal happy planner paper, but the dividers definitely feel a lot more thin than normal. They just feel like slightly heavier regular paper, so it does look like they're a little bit easier to bend. Now, I did buy this because I wanted the frosted cover, which means that the actual cover itself is one piece of kind of frosted plasticky material, and then the color of the cover is actually the paper behind the cover. One thing that I was a little surprised about was the actual color of the cover. When I first saw this planner online, I thought that that color was a little bit more peachy brown, but in person, it's definitely more of like a sandy tan kind of color, which I think I prefer. I'm not going to end up using that color part anyway, but it was a nice surprise nonetheless. And then just because of the design that's actually printed on that cover, I was under the impression that the moth and then maybe some of the stars and maybe the years were printed on the cover itself, and then the moon phases were actually on the paper behind it, which made me a little bit sad because the moon phases were my favorite part. I'm not a huge moth kind of person, so I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that the entire design was printed on the cover itself and then the paper behind it is just blank. So I can use that frosted cover and still keep that moon phase design. And I am the kind of person who does like having the years printed on the cover itself. I know that's kind of a controversial opinion, but okay, what does this planner actually look like on the inside? We are going to go through every single page of this planner. First of all, we have these extra little info pages. They do feel a little bit more recycle material-ish. There isn't that plasticky glossy kind of covering here, and there really isn't much on these info pages that would suggest that this is a dashboard layout, but that layout was pictured on the website. Okay, so here's this frosted cover, which is the whole reason why I bought this planner, and then we have that extra paper, which is a little bit thicker than regular paper, but not quite heavy cardstock, which is the color for that cover, and the front page of the planner does look a little little bit different than normal, giving some more information about the eco-friendly or sustainable features of this planner. And just like any other happy planner, this does have that kind of year at a glance situation going on, and then kind of that monthly breakdown. I don't think I mentioned this before, but this is a 12-month planner starting in July. So this planner has July 2025 through June 2026. And then this is something that I think the Happy Planner has been starting to do somewhat recently-ish, where there's a few extra pages of calendars for the few months leading up to the start of the planner, which I don't know if I'll use, but I think that's kind of cool. I really appreciate that. And then we get into the monthlies and weeklies. The calendar pages are super neutral, just black and white, and then the weekly dashboards are pretty minimalistic as well, although the bottom of each dashboard does have a little blurb with some information about how you can live a little bit more sustainably or better habits that are better for the environment. Some of them are pretty basic, but it's still a nice thought. And then that's kind of it. That's really all that's going on with this planner, but on my channel, I do like to show each and every page of a new planner. So let's dive in and flip through what's left here. This is something else that I'm starting to see in the newer Happy Planners, where it has this page to remind you to start thinking about buying your next planner. They put this one 3 months before the end of the planner though, which is way farther ahead than I usually buy my next planner. And then we have the final notes page, and this one has a little bit more information about having a more environmentally friendly type of planning life, I guess. So there you have it. The muted Mariposa classic size Happy Planner, which is a dashboard layout and also has a combination of butterflies and moths. Isn't Mariposa Spanish for butterfly? I don't know. I still like it though. And if you like it too, I think it's still available. I only saw this on the Walmart website though, but let me know if you can find this planner anywhere else. I am going to be taking this apart to kind of franken plan my next planner though, so stay tuned to my channel so you can see how that ends up turning out.